Hey friends, I'm Linda Moon, Director of Grow Kids Curriculum. Welcome to the series walkthrough for Game Plan, a 4-week series from 1st and 2nd Samuel on David. We recommend the series for the month of August because the Bible stories of how David teamed up with God and others align with our fall discipleship strategy of spending time with others. However, our scope and sequence takes kids through every major Bible story in 3 years, so feel free to teach this series whenever you'd like. So let's take a closer look at what Game Plan is all about. In week 1, we'll take a look at 1 Samuel chapter 25 and how Abigail stepped in to bring peace between David and her husband Nabal. By trusting God and sticking to the winning strategy, Abigail shows kids that this week's big idea is true. Making peace is part of God's game plan. In week 2, we'll explore the story of David and the Ark of the Covenant in 2 Samuel chapter 6. As he celebrated unabashedly while some disapproved, David's dedication to God's plan reminds us of this week's big idea. Following God is the best game plan. Then in week 3, we'll take a look at the time when David was a good sport in 2 Samuel chapter 9 when he showed kindness to Saul's descendant Mephibosheth. Even though that particular family once caused David great pain, David's care for Mephibosheth inspires us to remember this week's big idea. Showing kindness is in God's game plan. And finally, in week 4, kids learn about the time Nathan rebuked David for what he did to Uriah and Bathsheba until David repented for his actions in 2 Samuel chapters 11 and 12. Nathan's confrontation with David helped David discover firsthand this week's big idea. Forgiveness is always God's game plan. And this month's memory verse from Psalm 33:11 tells us why we should keep following God's game plan. But the plans of the Lord stand firm forever, the purposes of his heart through all generations. Now let's talk about the theme. At Grow Kids, we love pairing an engaging theme with each teaching series and creating an environment around it to really bring the Bible stories to life. The theme for the series is sports because we're talking about trusting and following God's game plan. To decorate your space, consider setting up your room like a stadium with seating around a field of some kind. You could also opt for a sports-themed backdrop and lay out various balls, bats, rackets, and nets. And don't forget to provide team spirit accessories like pom-poms and foam fingers. Other fun ideas include distributing sports-themed snacks, water bottles, and giveaways throughout the month. And nothing adds more to the theme than having volunteers dress up. So invite your leaders to put on an old uniform, a referee outfit, or even a tracksuit. Don't forget that included in your resources folder is an environment guide that contains even more ideas, font and color schemes, Pinterest board links, curated Spotify playlists for elementary and preschool, as well as how to access original music kids will love from growmusic.org. So you have an overview of the series as well as a look into how to theme up your ministry space. Now let's talk about some of the exciting features of Game Plan. If you've been using Grow for a while, you know our teaching is always broken up into 3 sections. The What section hooks kids with activities and questions that set up the Bible story and the big idea. The So What section teaches and reinforces the scripture passage and big idea. And the Now What section helps kids dive deeper into what it all means and what next steps they can take in their relationship with God. But within this consistent structure that stays the same every time, each series uses a different combination of building blocks like activities, object lessons, videos, reflections, and others in each major section to help teach the material in fun and new ways. Now, each series does something a little different with these building blocks, so here are a few that are unique to Game Plan. First up is the reflection building block. In Grow Kids, we kick off the Now What section with reflection, where we invite kids to slow down and think deeply about the Bible story and big idea. In Game Plan, every week's reflection time is called Pass It. where kids will pass around a different ball each week and take turns sharing their thoughts on the prompts the leader gives them. Next, we have the response building block. Also in the Now What section is a response section where kids usually get to write or draw independently or collaboratively and formulate a practical action step or two based on the Bible story and big idea. In Game Plan, kids get to make an actual playbook where they draw up imaginary plays for how they might apply what they've learned to different situations. And even if kids don't attend every week and skip a page or two, it would still be super special for kids to end up with a full playbook as a souvenir of this month's Bible stories and big ideas. And finally, let's look at what's happening in preschool. Your Grow Kids subscription includes a curriculum for elementary and a separate curriculum for preschoolers that covers the same Bible stories, big ideas, and memory verses. This month in Game Plan, preschoolers will learn the big idea by chanting it together while shaking pom-poms, noisemakers, or foam fingers, to go along with the theme, and following the hand motions that we've provided, like this one in week 1. Making peace is part of God's game plan. And that was a quick look at Game Plan. I hope you're as pumped to teach the series as our team was to make it for you. Don't hesitate to customize what's here and make it your own because you're so smart and creative. I mean, you're in kids ministry after all. Make sure you reach out and share your experience with the series through posts and photos on Instagram at Steffi Can Use or in our Facebook group, Steffi Can Use, a children's ministry community. Well, until next time, friends. Bye.